My name is Caleb. Welcome to Convos with Caleb. I'm a pianist by trade. You see the music notes. You can't really see, but there's a keyboard right here. And every now and then, take a break from the keyboard videos for a couple of different reasons. I've been playing a lot of live. It's Christmas time around here. Playing at the church. Sometimes I just don't feel like recording, but I do need to get something out. And this is my way of speaking what's on my mind at any given time about any given topic. If you've seen these combos with Caleb before, you know it's uncut, unedited, off the dome. Today, real simple piece of advice, piece of wisdom. It's just the fact that, well, I guess it's two things. Number one, nobody's coming to help, and number two, nobody cares. Let me explain, because the second part can get, it can sound real dooming, real doomful. I don't really know what word I'm looking for there, but it can sound real negative and pessimistic. But let me get to it. First of all, the first one, nobody's coming. Now, this too has its own exceptions. Some people rely completely on other people, um, and on both sides of that coin. Number one, big strength for knowing that you're relying and dependent on somebody, and accept that and reach out for help. Big strength on the other side of that for being one of those people who dedicate their life or your life, if you're one of those people watching, taking care of other people. And that could be sick, disabled, elderly, and there's so many people. And so, and to both people on both sides of the coin, I stress my sincerest and deepest appreciation for your strength. Is admirable. But for the majority, for people like myself, 30-year-old single male, no kids, no wife, no and I guess that might be a reflection of who I am in a negative way. Maybe it's a positive thing. I just see it as God's plan for my life, just how the cards have been dealt so far. And one thing that I have always knew, but definitely in the past couple years, coming into 30, knowing for sure, help is not on the way. And there's a lot of things, a lot of these problems that I created myself in my early 20s and my mid 20s, and the Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly is that a show called The Fairly Odd Parents? Fairly Godparents? I don't know, but I've seen it a lot of times. And you make a wish, some wishes are off limits, and boom. And I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I believe God can change situations, and things change without my influence, and things are made better without me having to directly be a part of it. But for the most part, all I'm trying to say is that a lot of times there's this big giant mess in front of us that we make ourselves. And a lot of times there's a big giant mess in front of us that we didn't make. Either way it goes, somebody has to clean up that mess, and a big portion of that cleanup process, a big portion of if things are going well and you just have to maintain. Maybe there's not a mess. Maybe it's all glory for you. Maybe, congratulations. Well, you're gonna have to work just as hard to keep what you have as you did to get it, and nobody's gonna come help to do that for you. It's just part of our life mission, part of our life purpose, is to walk our path. Is the easiest way I can put it, and you have to walk that path. Even others, mentors or books, and the podcast era that we're in right now, all these self-help things. It's like these people, it's good to hear like somebody else went through this thing and made it through, but our lives and our situations and our purposes and our past are so peculiar to us, and who we're supposed to be on the other side of that can only be accomplished if we walk that path, and we have to walk the path either way it goes. um, so push that boulder up the hill, and stop waiting for somebody to come help you push. People will come help you push along the way, but the whole point is that you take initiative, and that you realize uh, ambulance and the firefighters and the police are one call away, but for the most part, they're not coming. And you're going to have to save yourself on this one. Push the border up the hill. Number two, nobody cares. This sounds horrible because I'm probably meaning to say something different than how it sounds. People care about you. Um, and while the first point I had, I said there was exceptions. You got the disabled, the sick, and the elderly, and a couple of different other situations. This particular point, I think all of us have somebody that cares about us. Let me take that back. I know Maybe not. Maybe there's not a single person in your life that you can think of, but I can think of one. Jesus Christ. That's a story for another day. But I'm not saying this statement saying that your life is meaningless and nobody cares and boom, 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 boom. That's not exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we're taught, especially in the entrepreneur world. I'm an entrepreneur, business world, and we're taught one of the major like hurdles or objections that we're to overcome is that you just don't care about what people think. And my point and this second point is that when, especially when we get to maybe at some point, maybe like middle school and high school, and you're trying to impress your friends, but from the material that I'm getting that from, that's not middle school, high school material. I'm talking about entrepreneurship, self help, and just kind of throughout my entrepreneurship and growing up journey of don't care what other people think, don't care what other people think, just do it anyway. From my experience, people are so enthralled in what they got going on and their job and their kids and their families and their things that they do not care what you are doing as far as going out and quitting your job to start a new business or taking a job that you love rather than a job that looks better on paper. You make these moves and you probably do have. I remember I was working at Lincoln Financial Group, a bigger company with a banker job and nice kind of button up in a suit every day type of job, and I was leaving to go start a janitorial company. It made no sense on paper, except in my mind. It made no sense, and a lot of my thought process was like, how are people going to view me after this? People didn't care at all, and as a matter of fact, people actually commended me for taking such a step. So that I think that piece of advice that we get, that don't care what people think, don't care what people think, I think it's totally backwards. I think it's totally backwards. I don't think it's relevant. Now, as I was saying, people care about you. Like, go wander off into the woods and don't tell nobody where you're going. And this is Jim Rohn. He talked about this. Go wander off into the forest and don't tell nobody. And wait for the helicopters and wait for the search. People are gonna come find you because your life is super duper important, and people care about you. But on the flip side of that, in our day to day lives, we are so consumed individually with all that, because life is hard. Can we just get that part out of the way? Human life is difficult for most people. Everybody, I would say, goes through at least stretches of difficulty. And most people are in a stretch of difficulty in some part of their life, so much so that you quitting your job at Lincoln Financial Group to go work a janitorial job has about this much impact on what other people think. Um, and that's just a fact. That's just a fact. If you've had a similar situation, comment below and attest to that. If you have a different point of view and disagree with me, comment below and attest to that. I just love having these conversations and starting a conversation. I love to talk. Convos with Caleb is what it's all about. Like, subscribe, go watch a piano video. I love you.